Well, I've been known to ask people, I don't think this will do a burnout. Will?
We'll have to see.
Yeah, let's get after it. I'm excited. I've never been in a Hellcat before. Welcome to Texas Beard Adventures. I'm Brad Harrell, your host, and today we're over here at my buddy Will's house. Say hello, Will.
Hey, how's it going?
And we are videoing his beautiful 2016 Hellcat. Let's do a little walk around on it. Tell us about the rear wheels, Will.
Well, so far we had to do an upgrade on the car because it couldn't put it down to the street. So
you couldn't keep them from spinning all the time,
exactly.
Right?
We couldn't keep them from spinning. So we got 2-inch wider replica rims so it matched the front, and we put 315 Toyo R888 on the back so that we could put the power to the ground.
Wow.
So that's the first upgrade that we did to the car.
They stick out. The other ones were back in a little bit, huh?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You've done what, exhaust?
So well, I wouldn't say exhaust is done as much as it is undone.
Undone, right. Yeah, no doubt.
So
we heard that on the way out.
Yeah. We got a straight pipe on that, but pretty much everything that I've done so far is just prepping it for the big upgrades.
For the big, yeah.
So there's a company out of Maryland called HHP that I'm planning on taking the car up to and doing a little pulley and tune work, seeing if we can get this thing up to 900 wheel horsepower. So
that's nuts.
Those are the plans. Right now it's just big fat tires on the back, nice intake so it can breathe, and an exhaust so it can get after it.
And this car is a standard, folks.
Right, and of course we had to put the Barton shifter in there.
Oh, what's the difference between a Barton and a regular shifter?
So the regular shifter, whenever you're looking at shifting gears, right, you have a lot of movement left and right whenever you go into the channel for the gears. Sure. And then a lot of movement forward and backwards. So you're doing more to get it in gear. Okay. This has a 40% reduction in your throw. In the throw. So when you're going from first to second, it's a very short travel.
I see that now.
And then it's spring loaded so that if you let go, it automatically lines up with third gear. So one of the biggest problems when guys are running cars is they run first, second, and then they accidentally throw it back in first, and that's called the money shift, where you blow the gears.
Right.
So this one lines it right up with third, so you can just go right in.
Pop the hood. Let's just check out what you got going on underneath there.
So put the leg maker on. Leg maker was the first one to really produce this open air filter type system for the Hellcats when they first came out, and evidently it was successful because they went with the same design in the Demon and the Red Eye and the wide body Hellcats in the later editions. So this intake definitely helps bring in the air that it needs whenever you start building boost in this thing.
Right. And the company that HHP, you're going to be taking that up to them.
Right.
When are you thinking about doing that?
I'm thinking probably middle of next month.
Oh, really?
I'm thinking about it.
Wow, I didn't know it was going to be that quick. Are you going to drive the car up there?
So I'm going back and forth between driving it up there and having it shipped up there. They have a package that HHP sells where they'll include shipping for your vehicle. And you know, the first package is 8 to 850 wheel horsepower, and then they've got another package that's 850 to 900 wheel horsepower. Wow. So going back and forth on which one I want to do there. Obviously you get too much above 850 wheel horsepower and that makes it real difficult to drive in the street, but yeah, we'll see. It basically these engines make so much power that The only thing you really have to do is just change the pulleys and add some fueling to it, and they are just cranking horsepower. Probably of all the vehicles that I've owned, this one comparatively, even though it's a more expensive vehicle, is a lot cheaper to mod to get the big horsepower out of.
To get the numbers that you want for the amount of, what'd you call it? Horsepower dollars?
Horsepower per dollar, right?
Horsepower per dollar. Horsepower dollars.
So, I mean, this thing is a 6.2 liter twin screw blown Hemi.
That thing got a Hemi!
And they just have the ability to make monster power.
Yeah,
they got the internals and the transmission to boot to support all that, so you really don't have to do much whenever it comes to upgrade.
Well, I've been known to ask people, I don't think this will do a burnout. Will?
We'll have to see.
Yeah, let's get after it. I'm excited. I've never been in a Hellcat before. You got any plans to lower it?
Actually, I'm not a fan of lowering the vehicles just because, number one, I got a pretty steep driveway.
Right.
And number two, I don't like to deal with all that mess of having to drive around speed bumps and take different directions whenever you know.
Sure.
I like to be able to drive a car in normal road conditions. And for the most part, the final look of this car is going to be just clean. I want it to be debadged. I want it to be polished up.
Oh, you're going to debadge it?
I'm going to debadge it. I just want it to look clean and blend in until you get beside me.
Until you get beside me, and then it's all out the door. Turbo spooling up, or not the turbo, I'm sorry, supercharger.
Yeah, and that's what that intake does. It makes that a lot more audible. Sure.
Right.
We'll have to take this down to Mexico and do a good pull.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. No, we didn't talk about that, but I sure am glad it does. That car is just crazy. I'll bet that red Mercedes next to us was surprised. Oh yeah, baby! It's a shame. Another light in Mexico. What's nice about this car is that it is a technically I would consider it a supercar, because I mean
it depends on how you look at it. So a lot of folks consider it a supercar by virtue of the horsepower.
20, but I wasn't looking.
So a lot of folks consider it a supercar by virtue of the horsepower.
Right.
And maybe the engine size or the quarter-mile time. But in reality, supercars, those guys are 200,000 plus, typically 120,000 plus. You can go pull one of these guys down for 65,000. So for the price of an F-250, you could get you a car that will damn near eat every bit of all the supercars out there on the track.
Right.
So that's American muscle for you.
That's right. Gotta love Mexico. Well, Will, I appreciate you letting me come over and take a ride in your Hellcat. I'm glad Mexico is so close to us that we were able to make it over there and back. And like, I mean, it was like, you know,
Hey, this is prime real estate out here.
That's right. I mean, you're close to Mexico, you're close to California, you're close, I mean, you're in Texas.
You know, I mean, you got everything you want.
That's right.
But yeah, you know, I appreciate you coming out. I had a good time. Here's to part 2.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I cannot wait to see what this thing's going to do when you get it back from HHP. HHP or HHP?
HHP.
HHP. Okay. If you're new to my channel, consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell so you know when I post new videos. Check me out on Instagram at Texas Beard Adventures. Me and the wife of the kitties do all kinds of crazy stuff over there. And I'll catch you on the flip side. You dang hillbillies.